Yes, of course.
Okay. So good afternoon. I'm happy to introduce the young and dynamic faculty from the School of Mathematical Sciences, Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded, Dr. Surendranath Reddy. He completed his PhD under the eminent mathematician, Bhatnagar Awardee Professor V. Suresh from the Central University of Hyderabad. His research area is algebra, analysis, and soft theory. He published more than papers in the reputed journals with good citations. He guided for 2 MPhil students, 4 PhD students, and presently 3 students are working on algebra analysis and soft set theory. He completed a minor research project, and he is one of the leading speaker, as per many people agree with me. He's a leading speaker in the country in the pandemic on how to develop the e-contents and give the lectures to the students, basically.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, he might be actually he was busy with delivering the lectures on various aspects, how to give the online lectures, basically not lectures, but how to give online lectures to the students and various on the platforms like orientations and conferences also. So he's the leading speaker in the pandemic, particularly for the last 1.5. Presently, he is holding a key post in the university also. He is an associate director at Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University. He is a nodal officer for Atal ranking of Institute of Innovation and Achievements. He also the member coordinator for the NRF ranking for the university of his university online, and he is also coordinator for the conduction of the online courses on the Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University. Today, he will speak on spectrum and binary, the zero divisor graphs. Now, with this brief introduction, I request Surendranath Reddy to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for introduction. I would like to Joshi sir because he has contacted me, planned this program. Thank you for having hope and believe on me so that I can share some information in this refresher course. Also, I would like to thank Ganesh Kadu sir. I'll be happy to meet him virtually this time. Yeah. Before starting the lecture, I would like to tell few things that I may not be so much expert. I am also a learner. So many people may be having this concepts or this knowledge already. So please bear with me. I'll be going with basics towards my research. What I did. One of my PhD student recently awarded on this zero divisor graph. So I'll be taking in this today and tomorrow these topics which we recently worked and some scope for further work. Okay. So let me share my screen. I hope this screen is visible now.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So you might have already heard in few lectures earlier about zero divisor graph. So anyhow, mathematics, one of the good advantages is that same theorem can be proved in different ways. So everyone has their own prospect, right? So let me tell you what I will be discussing in this outline of my talk. So I will be discussing basically 3 versions of zero divisor graph. Even though they are not exactly called as zero divisor graph. One is by Beck, who actually introduced this concept, and then by Anderson and Muley. Okay, one can say Beck is just a ring. He defined this as a graph. Then Anderson, he actually called it as a zero divisor graph, and Muley, we can call it as compressed zero divisor graph. Okay, and then I'll go through the what is adjacency matrix of a zero divisor graph for a particular ring. Then one can have, of course, once we have adjacency matrix, then we can talk about spectrum, characteristic equation, and so on. Then I'll also, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, I'll be discussing about compressed zero divisor graph and how one can simplify compared to normal zero divisor graph. Okay. Then I'll also discuss Wiener index of zero divisor graph as well as compressed zero divisor graph. Okay. Fine. So what are the different versions are there for throughout these talks? R is a commutative ring with identity. Then we can say the concept, even though it is not exactly the zero divisor graph, the Ibach in 1988, he is the one who introduced such a graph for a commutative ring. Okay. And why we say it is a closely related to zero divisor graph, I'll tell you when I explain his definition. Okay. Then Anderson and Nazir. Okay. These are the two people who further studied their work after Beck. Okay. And brought some interesting results. Then twin brother D.F. Anderson and Livingston together come up with the actual zero divisor graph definition. You can say simplification of this Beck's definition. Okay. Later in 2002, S.B. Muley has introduced another zero divisor graph based on equivalence relations. We can also call it as a compressed zero divisor. Okay. Fine. So let's see how this Ibach has defined for somehow what is meant by a zero divisor graph. His idea is mainly on coloring of commutative ring. Okay, so for this he wants graph. He has considered a ring, commutative ring, and vertices are nothing but all the elements of ring R, including 0. Okay, so his vertices for his graph is all the elements of the ring R, including 0, and then edges is nothing but this zero divisor relation, in the sense that X is a commutative ring. Then any two elements X and Y are adjacent if X times Y is 0. Okay, that is the thing. And why we are relating, because X times Y is 0 means that X and Y are zero divisors, right? Fine. If you quickly take an example, because these three definitions I will cover with same example, so that we'll see how structure is simplified. Okay. So consider simply Z12. I'll go a little fast because these things you might be already knowing it. And we know for Z12 0 to 11, they are the elements. Of course, they are equivalence classes, but we see I think entire screen option will be there, right?
So if it is a PDF, we can see. Otherwise, Beamer presentation, it won't think.
Where is the, in this entire screen? There will be somewhere. Okay, this screen. Okay. Can you see now something?
Yes,
Now okay.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So if you see this 1, 5, 7, 11, these are only connected with 0. Remaining no other things are there. Okay. So the coming thing, what Anderson they did is they simply try to remove this part, even though which is not relevant because they are not at all anything related with other elements. Okay, so that we will see actually, that is the actual zero divisor graph. Okay. Yeah. Now, what quickly, if I want to say Beck's work, one can read his first paper. His main interest was about chromatic number and a clique number. If we quickly see what is meant by chromatic number, it is minimum number of colors required for vertices in such a way that no two adjacent vertices have same color. Okay, and then clique number. This is the, you take the maximal complete subgraph. That means it is a subgraph where any two vertices are having an edge or adjacent, and you take such a huge one, maximum possible complete graph, then number of vertices in that is the clique number. Okay, so he is, and maximum work in that is related to these two things. Okay, so what he proved is a nice interesting result for a reduced ring R. That means no non-zero nilpotent elements. With of course finite chromatic number, then chromatic number is same as clique number. Okay, so he proved the result for reduced rings, this result, and he also classified when the chromatic number is 2, if and only if either R is an integral domain or R is Z4 or R is among these 3. Okay, and he also conjectured after having some results in his mind, because he worked for not only reduced ring, he also worked the same result for this principal ideal ring. Okay, then he thought that he conjectured that for any ring R, this chromatic number and clique numbers are same. Okay, and he also listed in that same work paper that what are all rings whose chromatic number is less than or equal to 3. This is the list. One can go through it and try to if you want to learn something, take any of these things and try to find chromatic number for at least few of these rings. Okay, it may not be possible for all, but at least for few things you try to find what are all vertices. Okay, and then form a graph, and for that you find the chromatic number. Okay. Fine. Then next one, after his work D.D. Anderson and M. Nazir, they have continued his work, and what they proved, the first important thing is that they proved that his conjecture that chromatic number and clique number is equal for any ring, they have disproved this one. That means they have given a counter example where those two numbers are not equal. Okay, this paper I give a reference. It is around 15 pages paper. Whoever interested to know the complete proof of this one, he has taken Z4 with 3xyz modulo this ideal. Okay, x square minus 2y square and so on. And nicely they have proved that this chromatic number is 6 and clique number is 5 for this graph. So as a result, they proved that this conjecture is not true for any ring. Okay. Fine. Then not only that, they have given for which this can be true. So if A is a regular Noetherian ring, then this is true for, if you consider R as A modulo this one, then chromatic number and clique numbers are same for this. Okay, and also they have classified because for chi of chromatic number less than or equal to 3 already Beck did, so they have extended up to 4, and for all 4 they have classified. Okay. Then there was some little gap, almost 5 years gap. There was not much work about this one. Okay. Then later came D.F. Anderson and P. Livingston's work. So this Livingston, he submitted his master's thesis on the title Structure in Zero Divisor Graphs of Commutative Ring. Okay, and based on this, they have published this. D.F. Anderson is, of course, his supervisor. So they together come up with a paper, and which is published in Journal of Algebra. That in that paper they have defined what is meant by a actual zero divisor graph. Okay, so that they have denoted by gamma R, and they have proved a lot of results for a ring by using graph theoretic properties. Okay. Why they said, I mean, why this paper it is so important, and it is that because by using simply a structure, zero divisor structure, okay, it is not even, you can see that this Z of R, which is not, it is an algebraic structure, but it is not even closed in the sense if X and Y are there, then X plus Y need not be there. Okay. So with a small structure itself, they have able to do many things. So that is the one of the best paper one can say best for zero divisor. Okay. So what they have defined, as I already explained in the example, they have not considered all the vertices of a ring. They have considered only non-zero zero divisors. Okay, so vertices itself are zero divisors, and whenever there is an edge, if again X times Y is 0. Okay. Fine. So you can see this, it is simple, of course, and it is an empty, if it is an integral domain, that means there are no non-zero zero divisors, right? If you quickly go through this example Z12 to see, and now you can see that here, this has better than the previous one. You can see this is the Beck's graph for Z12, and this is the Anderson zero divisor graph. I have already mentioned that here, this much part is removed, remaining things are there. Okay, because they are not at all contributing anything other than they have just multiplied by 0, it is 0, that's all. Okay, so this much part they have removed and they made it as a official zero divisor graph, and it is a nice one because when you have a large ring, then that graph looks unnecessarily complicated because of this 0 is there. Okay. So once the 0 is removed, then obviously these elements have been removed from that graph. Fine. Now, what they did is they have worked on connectedness. Okay. What about their connectedness? It says that the zero divisor graph is connected with at most diameter 3. Okay. So for any ring R, the diameter of the zero divisor graph is at most 3. And they also proved that if at all it contains a cycle, okay, then the grid is maximum 7, at most 7. And they have also in that paper come up with this diameter of, why I have mentioned here, at least you try to find zero divisor graph of this Z4, Z9, Z6, Z2 cross Z4, then try to find the diameter. Okay, they are easy to find, and I may say is I can just these things at least
Professor?
you do it as
Professor?
exercise.
May
Yes.
I have a Professor?
Yes. Yes.
What is the diameter equal to 0?
That means
What do
you
mean?
see what is Z4? What are the zero divisors in Z4?
0, 2, 4.
No, in Z4 you will have 0, 1, 2, right? 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the zero,
yeah.
zero divisors here?
2.
Which one? Yeah, well, that means only one element, right?
No. I am asking in graph what it means diameter equal to 0.
Because it has only one. You can say when
Wow.
a graph is having a singleton.
Oh, okay.
Because-
Only single vertex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Then you also try. This is interesting examples. At least Z2 of X modulo X square XY Y square. Okay. For this, try to see what are all zero divisors. Okay. Then from that you try to find if grid if it is possible. Okay. Okay. And they have proved that if R is an Artinian ring, then grid is less than or equal to 4, and they have conjectured that it is true for any ring. And this is proved by Moulet and as well as Demeyer and Schender independently. Okay. This was proved in 2002. So whatever they have conjectured in 1999 is proved this by Moulet. So we'll see what is his idea of what is meant by zero divisor graph. He simplified, and I will call it as a simply compressed zero divisor graph. The idea is, see, for example, in the earlier one, 2, 4, 6, 8, they are all zero divisors. Okay, and if you when you consider in the form of an equivalence relation, I'll tell you what is that equivalence relation. Then some of the elements, even though they are different, but they will behave like same. Okay, so what is his definition is that take two zero divisors R and S. Okay, then they are equivalent. So R and S are equivalent if and only if annihilator of R is same as annihilator of S. Okay, that means some element is here, say call it some X. So if X times R is 0 and something, so if annihilator of R is same as annihilator of S, then we will consider R and S are equivalent. Okay, so with respect to this equivalence relation, that means instead of taking zero divisors as vertices, now we will consider equivalence classes as vertices. Then this edge relation is same. Again, X times Y is R, you say R and S, so R times S is 0. These things we simply denote R and S. So equivalence classes, and there is an edge between two equivalence classes if R times S is 0. Okay, so this is the simplified zero divisor graph, or you can call it as compressed zero divisor graph. The idea here is equivalence relation. Okay, we'll see an example. And also one of the advantage one can see here is that, as I said, gamma of R, once you take polynomial strings like this, then it will be having infinitely many zero divisors. For example, just say for example, X is a zero divisor, then any multiple 2x, 3x, 4x, all such things will also be zero divisors. Okay, so that means in zero divisor graph, it may happen that that is an infinite graph. But sometimes, even though your gamma R is infinite, many times this gamma ER can be finite. Okay, so this is one such example. Here, if you take this Z X comma Y modulo X cube comma XY, then if you consider the compressed zero divisor graph of this, okay, then it will have only 4 vertices. That means it is a finite graph. Can somebody give at least few elements, zero divisors of this graph? I said 4 vertices. Can somebody give vertices for this zero divisor graph, compressed zero divisor graph?
X square.
X, okay, very good. X square.
Y.
Y.
X plus Y.
X plus Y. Okay. Then
there are multiples.
Multiples. Okay. So if you consider as a normal zero divisor graph, then all multiples of these things will come, right? For example, if you take X square, then you take 2X square, 3X square, and so on, right? But annihilator, if I call it this annihilator of X and annihilator of X square, whether they are same? That means I want to see whether X and X square are two different vertices or not. Whether annihilator of X and annihilator of X square are they same? Quick. Whether they are same?
No.
Why? Can you give at least one element? Which is
X annihilates X square, but X does not annihilate X.
Very good. So this X belongs to here, right? But X does not belongs to here. Okay. So you can check that these 4 vertices are different vertices. Okay. And wherever you have an edge, you can simply find what is this gamma ER. Okay. And you will see that this is in fact finite with only 4 vertices. Okay. And if you see this 3, I can write it in 1. So this is the Beck's graph, and this is Anderson, and this is Mullis zero divisor graph. Okay. 2, 6, 4, and 3. Okay. Where will be 8? Can somebody tell where will be 8? Even though 2, 6, 8, 3, 9, 4, 10. These are all different zero divisors. Where will be 8 belongs to here? Because when we are considering here as equivalence classes, what happens to this 8, 10, 9?
Equivalence class of 4.
Equivalence class of
4.
4. Okay, so just make sure where this I'm sorry, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Anything else? Where this belongs to? Just check where this different elements belongs to which equivalence class. That means you should know annihilator of those elements. Okay. I'm giving a very, very simple exercise, and from that at least you will learn something and you are connected with lectures. Yeah. Now I'll with this small introduction of zero divisor graph, I want to say something about this interesting how I come up with this zero divisor graph, how I came to know about at least this word. In 2014, UGC major research project list has announced, and I have observed that many projects have been rejected. Very few out of 100 something, very few projects have been sanctioned. So when we are discussing with our colleagues, we thought, let's see what type of projects they have approved, because so many things they have rejected. While go through it, somehow I found that there is a title zero divisor graph of rings. Before that, I was really not knowing, and he is the principal investigator. Okay. After seeing this one, I immediately start searching in internet that what is this zero divisor graph. Okay. And I was interested and it was nice. So then I found some references. I thought I can work on this one. I found interesting when I read about Beck's and Anderson, especially Anderson paper first I read. Then I thought I will take this topic and I will give to one of my research students. So even the UGC major project title can change or give an opportunity to work in that one. So I thought at least I will share. So such research useful refresher course can be even more beneficial, more useful if you take it in positive way. Okay. Fine. So what we did when we start, okay, how we can work, what is the work is already done and what was not yet done, then we found that spectrum or adjacency matrix and then spectrum related things, there is a scope for doing. And we found while searching one paper by Mohammad Reza and Reza, this one, they did a paper on energy and Wiener index of zero divisor graph, especially for ZP square and ZPQ. Okay. We thought it is, we understood that paper and we thought why can't we extend this? So we tried for ZPQ. First, our thought is ZPQ. Let's try for ZPQ. For P is any prime. Then we go for some other thing. Okay. So this was the first basic paper which given some idea, some work to proceed. Okay. Then we studied adjacency matrix, energy, and Wiener index for ZP cube as well as ZP square cube. And then we further went to compressed and different types of adjacency matrix are there. Okay. Fine. So when we thought of finding some adjacency matrix, or we'll find eigenvalues or spectrum for P cube. So if you take, for example, simplest, even if you take P is 2 and P cube 2 cube, it is 8. It is a simple matrix, so we can write. The moment you change P to 3 cube, which is 27, and 5 cube is 125. So analyzing 125 because we are just beginners at that time. So how can we have a 125 matrix? How can we get some better standard form or something? Because if we want to have a eigenvalues or something, if we can have a better adjacency matrix, then using determinant properties and all, we can solve. That was our idea. So my research student really worked very well. He come up with lot of examples. He taken different primes and he calculated the zero divisors and he formed the adjacency matrix. Okay. So I'll just give an example and you see how we have come up. Almost it took for us many time in lecture. It is just a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. But while doing research, it takes a lot of time and patience is required. Everybody know what is meant by adjacency matrix. The values are either ones or zeros. One if there is an Vi times Vj is 0 and 0 otherwise. Okay. Of course, you have to take they are different. Okay. Vi and Vj are different. So you simply take P cube, so 27. So Z 27 we have considered, and these are the zero divisors. The moment now onwards I say zero divisors, so we are not considering zero. They are only non-zero zero divisors. So 3, 6, 9, 12 up to 24. These are the zero divisors, and then we have written the matrix, adjacency matrix. It is very obvious wherever there. Fine, you manually solve it. What about 5 cube? What about how we can generalize? So then we thought of, can we rearrange these vertices in such a way that can we get a better form?
Sir, voice is breaking. Is from my side or all the participants?
No,
are-
no, it's not audible at all.
Not audible.
Voice is breaking.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is
Uh,
connectivity issues from your side.
Reddy sir, you are mute
Yeah.
and
I think
Yes.
there is, yeah, probably there is some connectivity issue at your
Yeah,
end.
I have joined.
Okay.
So let me share again.
Actually, the voice breaking, sir.
Okay,
That's
you can't hear?
now okay, browser.
Now we are able to hear, but there are frequent interruptions in between.
Okay, so maybe I'll just a second. I'll connect my laptop to mobile itself. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, fine. I think it will be fine now. Where I was there when I disconnected? Adjacency matrix, right?
Yes. Yes. So you were discussing the entries of this matrix, and you said you were trying to reorganize this matrix.
Okay, fine.
That is the point you left off. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see this matrix, you will not having any proper form or something. Then we rearrange the things. After how we have rearranged with several attempts, it is trial and error only. It is not like something suddenly came into our mind. So what we did is we have first arranged them as only the multiples of 3, but not the multiples of 3 square. Okay, because zero divisors are either multiples of 3 or multiples of 3 square in 3 cube, right? So what we did is we have first arranged only the multiples of 3, then we put them the multiples of 3 square. So I have rearranged this matrix. So 3, 6, 12, 15, 21, and 24. These are the vertices which are only the multiples of 3, but not the multiples of 3 square. Then we have put next one as multiples of 3 square, 9 and 18. Okay. After that, we got a better, a very, very good form of adjacency matrix that we thought this we can handle for any prime. Okay. So what we did is The same technique we have applied for p cube, because once you understood for 5 cube, then we can do it for p cube. So all multiples of p but not p square we put at one place, then multiples of p square. Okay, so this you can do it for even zp power n. That means for any zp power n, you can have a standard adjacency matrix for this zero divisor graph, and you will have a nice form with having zeros, then transpose and so on. Okay, one may ask, if we find eigenvalues or if we find the determinant and so on, whether is there any change? It doesn't make any change, because if we know determinant, you can evaluate either by any column or by any row. Okay, we are not completely changing anything. We are only placing columns in proper way. Okay, so there is nothing wrong if we put it in this proper way. Okay, so this is the first one which we felt that something is we can do it, and this is just for your understanding how graph these two matrices just look like. Okay, fine. Then we are able to do it even with their orders, how much this zero matrix, and there will be all one matrix. Okay, if you observe here, whatever you are having here, this is this precisely transpose of this, because we know it is symmetric matrix, right? So we have given the for any zp cube, there is a zero matrix of order A, which is of course, and there is a matrix of M, right? This is a very basic thing, one can easily do it. What you have to do simply, the idea is divide the zero divisors into two sets, only multiples of p and then multiples of p square. Okay, then you can see that there will be p square minus p number of elements in A and p minus 1 in B. Okay, and no two elements of A are adjacent because they are only multiples of p. So what maximum you get is multiple of p square, which is not zero in zp cube. Okay, and every element of this, if you take M, this it is because multiples of p square, it is adjacent with every other element. So you get all ones there. Okay, fine. Now with this, simultaneously, because we are thinking of z like p cube and zp square cube. So even for zp square q also, but that same technique we are able to do it. What we did is, the only thing is you split into 4 sets. One is only multiples of p and only multiples of q, then multiples of pq. Okay, then multiples of p square. Okay, so there will be multiples of p and multiples of p square, multiples of q and pq. So if you combine in this, if you rearrange them in these 4 sets, then we have a better representation, and that can be handled using this determinants and all when we calculate spectrum or eigenvalues. Okay, fine. Now how we did is, for this zp cube, if you take any non-zero eigenvalue, then there will be only 2 non-zero eigenvalues for this gamma zp cube, whatever prime it may be. Okay, remaining all are actually zero eigenvalues. Eigenvalues are zeros. So what we did is, after having that standard form, then if you see the characteristic polynomial, we have used the concept of block matrix, finding the determinant of this block matrix ABCD, because this B and C, they are transposed to each other, and this A, it is precisely having except diagonal elements remaining all are zeros. Okay, so it is easy to find determinant of A as well as D minus CA inverse B. Okay, so we have used this block matrix, determinant of block matrix technique, and we have simplified. We can able to simplify this, and we have solved this steps. One can easily do it. It is not a problem. So one can find CA inverse B, then D minus CA inverse B. And luckily this D minus CA inverse B is of some very familiar determinant. What is the determinant? It look like this. A, in diagonal entries, you have one same element, and remaining all places, you have different element. That means remaining all places, again, it is same. So there will be only 2 elements in that determinant. One is diagonal, which is same, and remaining all places other. So we thought first we'll, of course, one can easily simplify this determinant. So we have taken A and B, then we have simplified and we got this one. Okay. Simply add that and then take out, then subtract. These are all very basic determinant properties, but one can simplify this and you get this better representation. Okay. Then by putting those values, what we got is this particular one. Okay. In terms of P. So therefore the characteristic equation is here. Okay. You can see here lambda is there here also. So P square minus 3. That means 0 is a eigenvalue of multiplicity P square minus 3, and only 2 non-zero eigenvalues are there, which is this equation lambda square and this expression. Okay, and quadratic equation one can solve. If you solve it, you get this expression. Okay, so we got for P cube, and then we tried for P square cube. Okay, so for P square cube, by using that techniques and all, we got this for any non-zero eigenvalue lambda, we got this quintic equation, so 4th degree equation. Somehow we are not able to solve this. That means we are not able to find explicitly lambda. Okay, we are somehow not able to find explicitly this lambda. Then we tried for whether can we get some similar. That means for a particular P, for any particular P and particular Q, can we somehow we are not able to solve. Maybe we can take the help of MATLAB or some softwares, computationals, then we might have solved this. But so we are only able to give if a lambda is any non-zero eigenvalue, then we have shown that this satisfies this equation. Okay. Any doubts so far here?
This polynomial is irreducible, right? Is it irreducible? Might be, I think. Am I audible?
Yes. We have to check that one.
So over rationals, it may be irreducible, I think.
So we I mean stopped here, and that in the sense we can able to spend a lot of time to see whether we can get a lambdas, but somehow we didn't get that. We tried different ways. Then we have only stopped for ZP square Q. If lambda is a non-zero eigenvalue, then it is this one. Okay. After that, we have because of instead of having adjacency matrix, you can have different types of, whoever know about this spectral graph theory or anything, you have different types of matrices. Okay, for example, Randic matrix. So instead of adjacency matrix, the entries depends on the degrees. Okay, and people will have average degree. So many things are there. We have calculated so many things, but we thought we have to do something else, not just by going in similar lines. Then we have gone for compressed zero divisor graph when we have seen the thing, because in compressed zero divisor graph, the structure becomes simpler. Okay, so when we understood this compressed zero divisor graph, we start off working for ZP power n. We'll work for ZP power n. So we tried different primes and different n's, and we thought of calculating, because adjacency matrix anyhow we got, but we want to, there won't be much any standard type of, because different primes, this matrix will increase and you will have different values. What we want is at least can we find characteristic equation, and almost it took 6 months to 1 year, and simultaneously we got Wiener index very easily. Wiener index somehow we are able to calculate. Okay, but finding this characteristic equation of the compressed zero divisor graph, which I will tell, it it was the challenging problem, I can say. And my student really worked very well. He come up with, whenever we had some problem, he used to come up with different examples. Can we get some general form or something or not? Okay, because I have some time, can I show that compressed zero divisor one? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have one question. What is the use of Wiener index?
It's a good thing.
Wiener
It is
Zn groups.
the Wiener index is how compact it is. That means how closely elements. Wiener index is, you might be knowing, like finding distance, right? Some of the distance of different elements. Okay, so maybe there is may not be any result depending on the from the Wiener index. We are directly calculating or commenting about that particular ring. One second.
I have one more question, sir.
Yes.
Just we have obtained characteristic polynomial of the matrix, which is of the form constant matrix plus diagonal matrix, no?
One second.
A, B, 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 then B, A, B, 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 and so on. So, is there any technique if you have matrix whose blocks are?
This one?
Is there a yes, yes.
Huh.
This is just constant matrix plus diagonal matrix, no?
Yeah.
If such blocks are there, and if you have a matrix having blocks like matrix, so is there any technique to determine determinant easily?
Basically, if a matrix is of this form, then one can easily simplify by simply add the rows, because you get same value, right? Then you take out that outside, and whatever are there ones will be there. You can simplify and you can get determinant more simplified.
But we have matrix whose blocks are these matrices.
I mean, you are having such matrix, or we have this matrix? What you
Yes, yes. I have one matrix whose blocks are such type of matrices. Constant matrix plus diagonal matrix.
Then definitely you can use this, right? Because if you want to find eigenvalue only instead of this A, you will have A minus lambda, right?
Yes, this is for only diagonal blocks, no? But what about other blocks? Other blocks are there. Exactly similar to this matrix. If we have a matrix, block matrix, every block is of this type.
Okay, so you mean to say you have everyone is of this form?
Yes, sir.
Then you may have this. Maybe you can try using this one. Determinant of A, B, C, D.
Schur's formula. This is Schur's formula.
This is known result that determinant
this
of
is Schur's theorem.
Yes. And you don't require any matrix. They need not be square matrix. I mean, for any matrices, this A, B, C, D, you can have this one. Only thing is this C A inverse B in such a way that that product should be defined.
This is for general matrix, any general matrix. So
yes,
our matrix is specific. So
no, you can't split your matrix, or you can't write your matrix in this form like A, B, C, D.
Yes, we can write it.
Maybe you can try with this D minus CA inverse B, can you, whether it will simplify or?
Okay, sir.
Any other doubt? I'll just show you the compressed zero divisor graph.
Frozen?
Then next, yeah, any doubts? Yes.
Actually, for in this zero divisor graph, the vertices are considered as the elements of R.
Yes.
But in previous talk by Asir, the vertices are non-zero zero divisors.
Hmm.
What's the difference? So you are using the same definitions.
No, I'm not getting your question.
Actually, here the vertices are elements of R.
First one, first by Beck's definition. Huh.
Okay.
But
After
not every element need not be a zero divisor.
Oh, okay.
See, if you see that first graph Z12,
Yeah.
we have more elements, even 1,
Yes.
5, 7, 11.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But when it comes to zero divisor graph, 1, 5, 7, 11, they are not even vertices because they are not actually the zero divisors in that Z12.
Yeah, okay.
So let me share that. It is.
Because in the previous talk by Asir, the zero divisor graphs are biregular. But what I'm seeing in the previous slide, you showed the first one of Z12.
Z12. Huh?
Z12. That one.
Let me share my screen.
Right.
That was, I think, total zero divisor graph. That was not a. So the one that was shown by T. Asir was total. That was different. It was
total
not,
graph.
Total zero divisor graph.
Oh,
so that is why
total,
it was biregular. So this won't be biregular in general.
Oh, okay. In total zero divisor only, it's a biregular. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. So.
Yes. So now let me show that. Yes. So here you can see this is my student's handwriting. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So when we were actually working about compressed zero divisor graph, this ZP power n, again we worked with different examples. Our approach initially when we are new, we thought first we will understand with several examples, then we can generalize. So for P any prime you take, what we have noticed is that whatever characteristic equation we are getting, somehow it is not depending on the prime P. It is only depending on this n. Okay. So for P square we tried. It is very simple. P cube, P power 4, P power 5 we got. P power 6, because they are all simple matrices, manually one can calculate. P power 7, by the moment you go P power 7 and all, it is little difficult. Okay. P power 8, P power 9, just like that we thought. But we were not able to get any connection because initially we thought these coefficients we should able to write in the form of P, because when we thought ZP power n, where P is a prime, so coefficient somehow it should be in the relation with P and n like that. Okay, but we are not able to get any proper connection. So how can we generalize this ZP power n? We cannot keep on calculating manually. Okay, so many attempts. After so many attempts, I may tell you this. Finding characteristic equation itself for us, we don't know what is the reason. It took so much time. In meanwhile, we solved the Wiener index for ZP power n. And somebody else published in that they have proved Wiener index of this compressed zero divisor graph. Luckily, our approach was little different and their approach was little different. By the time we communicate this paper along with characteristic equation and Wiener index, by that just maybe we can say 15 days or 1 month before, somebody has published that this one. Okay, and we have, in fact, Joshi sir itself has shared that paper. We were a little disappointed whether they have this characteristic equation also or not. Luckily, they have not gone through this characteristic equation. So what we did is this coefficients without this plus minus, without sign, we have tried to, we thought, okay, we will write this characteristic equation, whatever is there, coefficients, we will try to put it and see can we get something. Okay, because we if we write those things, we got something like everybody might be knowing, it just look like Pascal triangle. It is not a Pascal triangle, but it somehow click that these coefficients are somehow looking like Pascal triangle. The moment such picture came into our mind, then we thought that because Pascal triangle is there, so coefficients one can represent in the form of binomial. So here also, then we thought the coefficients here also we can write in the form of binomial coefficients. Okay, earlier here suddenly 2, 3, so many things are there. There is no relation. We are not able to find for P and 6. So we stuck so much. Then after doing many things, and somehow after we thought, so let's write everything, all coefficients at one place. Then we immediately observed that this just look like a Pascal triangle. Then we are able to, because that idea gave us, even though it is not the simplest one, but for any P and for any N, ZP power N, you consider the compressed zero divisor graph, and we were able to give the characteristic equation whose coefficients are binomial coefficients, which involves, of course, this N and P. And this is the result which we have proved. If you take any P power N, then lambda power N minus 1 minus B1, B2, B3, and so on. And here also we took so much time. Even though how we can write this minus, suddenly it is going, and this, if you see here, this 1 plus 3, if you add 4, you are getting, but 3 plus 6, if you add, you are not getting 9, and so on. So even though it just look like Pascal, but we are having very difficult to find the exact relation. Okay, then what we did is we try to split into even cases and odd cases. Then we got some clear picture that I will explain when we next class, when I discuss Wiener index. Okay, so what are these binomial coefficients here, which are pi to I, and these pi's are nothing but this n minus 1 plus I amount. So if you see here anywhere, no p is involved in these coefficients. Okay, it is purely depend on this n. Whatever m is equal to p power n you take, so whatever prime you take, no matter. So it depends only on n. And we are able to solve this one, where this is a floor function, and with lot of calculations, and while solving the determinant, it has something called recurrence. So whoever interested, I can share my paper. You can go through it. There we have solved while solving the determinant, however it looks, when you expand it, it will come into two different matrices or determinants. They look somewhat different, and when you try it simplify again, it will split into two. They look similar and so on. So somehow, luckily, we are able to do it, and we got this. So this is about the characteristic equation of the compressed zero divisor graph, and whatever is remaining, that I will discuss next class, maybe because I have a meeting at 3:30. Anyone have this is the Wiener index, which I'll discuss tomorrow for compressed as well as normal zero divisor graph, and what whoever given some citations or what extra work one can do, that I will discuss in next class. That means what is the scope is there, whether can we work somewhere, is there any work is remaining, that I will discuss in next class. Okay, these are some of the references. You can see this coloring of commutative rings by Beck, then Anderson and Nasir. It is Beck's coloring of commutative ring, where they have proved this conjecture and they have given more results. and this D.F. Anderson and P.S. Livingston, where exactly they have defined the zero divisor graph, and they have given very good results. A lot of examples also they have given. So whoever new to zero divisor graph, then they can read this paper. That reference which we started working, that also I have given here. And these are the some of the survey papers where they have summarized many things about zero divisor graph, what work has done and what is remaining. These three which I have gone through it, okay, on zero divisor graph by different people. Okay, so I'll stop here because I have a meeting, and maybe 10 minutes if you have any doubts, and I can share. Whether I went a little fast.
Sir, I have one question again. So is there any spectral relation between compressed zero divisor graph and base graph, whatever you consider here?
Yeah, it is a very good question, and we have not yet worked on it. That we are going to work. In fact, Joshi sir suggested me to work in that direction. Not only for spectrum as well as for Wiener index also. So maybe one can work.
Wiener index, I think we can calculate.
But it is not yet completely calculated, at least.
For some classes, at least from compressed zero.
Yes.
The matrix of the compressed graph, when you have a power of a prime, it looks like this is invertible because the coefficient of the characteristic polynomial, I think, is +1. In fact, it will be, the determinant will be +1 or -1. Because I noticed that you showed us some examples, some 4 or 5 characteristic polynomials, and all of these polynomials, they had determinant either +1 or -1. Right? I mean, in like n equals to 2, it's -1. N equals to 2 and 3, it is -1. And then 4 and 5, it is +1. Then again 6 and 7, it is -1.
2, 2, 2, it is.
Right? And then 8 and 9, again it is +1, +1. And that's exactly the determinant, right? I mean, the constant term of this compressed zero divisor graph is the determinant of the corresponding matrix. Maybe you know, there is so
how we can relate that one? I mean,
no, what I'm saying is basically look at the adjacency matrix. In adjacency, the constant term is product of eigenvalues, right? Constant term of the characteristic polynomial is basically product of eigenvalues, which is also the determinant.
Yes.
Also related to the determinant. So does it not follow that the determinant is either +1 or -1 in this case? The determinant of the adjacency matrix of the compressed zero divisor graph or ZP power n is either +1 or -1. At least in these examples, it seems that it is +1 or -1.
Yeah.
So
it is. This pattern is there because if you see this here, the last one.
Oh, acha. Okay.
Here we have written -1 whole power
B1.
Yeah.
So either it is +1 or -1.
Yes.
We have in fact calculated the whole characteristic polynomial.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Thanks.
Any other?
Sonone sir.
Yes.
Yeah. He talked about something related to compressed zero divisor graph Wiener index and zero divisor graph Wiener index. In case of reduced strings, things are quite, in some sense, easy to say because the compressed that classes, equivalence classes, they forms an independent set. Okay, and then things becomes much more easy to say something about the compressed zero divisor graph and relation with the original zero divisor graph. But in case of non-reduced, it seems to be a little difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of denseness, I think.
In equivalence classes, we don't have independent, that don't form an independent set. And adjacency is not very much clear. So that is a big problem. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I didn't discuss any proofs, so maybe anyhow they are very basic things. If anyone want my paper, I can share with. You can just. I'll share my email ID. Those in detail proofs I can give.
Yeah, that will be helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how others are taking, whether we are discussing in, I don't think so. People are discussing in detail proofs, right? Do we require, because tomorrow I have to know whether we have to discuss, our outline is sufficient.
Outline will be, in my opinion.
Outline may be sufficient. Yeah. Outline may be.
Yeah. And I'm happy that when I said that I took this motivation from the research paper, UGC major project, that person itself has cited our work, and we are happy that he has recognized our work. So what we have taken from him is we have given him back. And he has attended when there was a conference in Goa. He attended that time. I think after that he started working that ZP4 and binary index. Because in that talk I have not talk in a paper presentation, I have given that idea of splitting, I mean rearranging these zero divisors. So there he mentioned my paper also. So if sir, if with your permission, if no questions or something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a meeting at 3:30. I'm sorry, I am taking 15 minutes before.
Can stop here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Maybe
Yes,
as an assignment, they can all work some exercise I have mentioned there. This PPT I can share with you.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So
okay.
who are interested, they are very good problems. Huh? Sorry.
Okay.
Somebody.
Can I conclude now? Vote of
Yes. Yes.
So on behalf of Department of Mathematics, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, and all the participants in this refresher course, I thank Dr. Surendranath Reddy sir for his wonderful talk. He has started with the 3 versions of zero divisor graph and the adjacency matrix and the characteristic equation of zero divisor graph for the ZP3 and ZP square Q matrix. And he has also shared his experience of his PhD student. And also I'm thankful for what he has done in this 1.5 years for all our new faculty members for running a new software for this how we can teach our student online, basically OneNote, OBS software, AutoCAD, and I'm also benefited from that. And he has two courses available on Vidya Mitra portal. I have recently seen his news on his Facebook post, and I am also congratulated for that also. And I hope to see all the remaining topic of the Wiener index and in the next talk I'll schedule on this same time. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, sir. See you tomorrow. And I'm right now sharing my PPT with Joshi sir.
Yes,
I hope somebody at least come up with a small, try to form the zero divisor graph and find the diameter grid wherever I have given those examples.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.